हेलो फ्रेंड्स, today's video is about SCO Plots। जो लोग गुड़गांव में रहते होंगे उनको काफ़ी फ़ोन आते होंगे ब्रोकर्स के कि SCO Plot में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए। SCO is the most hot or upcoming commodity in real estate, and today we're going to talk about what the SCO Plot is and why it is better than other options in commercial। And for those who are already aware of this, उनके लिए एक रिफ्रेशर है। जो लोग नए हैं वीडियो में और जो लोग कमर्शियल में अभी तक इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया है उनके लिए ये जानना अच्छा होगा कि क्या क्यों इन्वेस्ट करें एसईओ के अंदर और कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करें, राइट। सो क्विकली मूविंग ऑन टू व्हाई एसईओ, राइट। सो ऑफ कोर्स कमर्शियल के अंदर आप देखोगे तो रेजिडेंशियल से इट इज ऑलवेज एडवांटेजेस whether it comes to appreciation or it comes to return on your investment। so आपको जो रेंटल इनकम आती है वो कमर्शियल के अंदर मच हायर आती है देन कंपेयर टू रेजिडेंशियल। इफ आई गिव यू सम बॉल पार्क रेंजेस, रेजिडेंशियल में रफली 2-2.5% के आसपास रिटर्न आती है एंड कमर्शियल में वही 7-7.5 के आसपास। तो रफली 3 times आपकी रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट है। इट्स अ गुड सोर्स ऑफ इनकम if it goes into commercial. But let's look at what are the options commercial. Of course, office space is one, retail may mall and food courts another, and third is the SEO. So look at some advantages, disadvantage. Office space, of course, if it goes on rent, it is a long-term rental application for you. If you got a company, you can self-use it. It is applicable for those जिनको खुद का एक use case है, but that's a very small commodity. Disadvantages wise look at, of course, there is a very high maintenance cost। अगर आपका ऑफिस स्पेस लीज्ड आउट नहीं है, आपका रिटेल मॉल या फूड कोर्ट लीज्ड आउट नहीं है, तो आपको स्टिल वो मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट देना है एंड दैट इज अप रफली बिटवीन 25 to 30 रुपीज स्क्वायर फीट। तो इमेजिन कीजिए अगर आपने 2000-3000 स्क्वायर फीट का लिया है तो रफली आप 60,000 से 90,000 के बीच में पर मंथ सिर्फ मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट दे रहे हैं, जो कि आप यूज भी नहीं कर रहे हो और आपको कोई रेंटल नहीं आ रहा है। So that's a big disadvantage in terms of maintenance cost, very high maintenance cost because they have the air conditioning, security and many other things which is part of the building. Of course, office space is not easy to lease, but in some cases where they have their own leasing facility, it is okay, but those leasing facilities are also active only for initial few years. Later on, it becomes a hassle for the owner to find somebody to lease, and it is not easy to lease out your office space because a lot of people say मुझे फिट आउट करा के दो, मेरे हिसाब से फर्निशिंग करा के दो, जो कि हेडेक है और सबके रिक्वायरमेंट्स अपनी अलग है। Then of course smaller office space को collaborate करना पड़ता है bigger office space के अंदर, that's another drawback there। Retail mall has some similar challenges, which is again high maintenance cost, not easy to lease, smaller you need to collaborate with bigger ones, and of course it has a dependency on other shops in the mall कि किस तरह की और showrooms हैं, shops हैं, brands हैं जिसके basis पे आपको चल पाएगा। Now, if I look at SEO, it is very different product from compared to the office space and retail mall or food court। So SEO, of course, the biggest challenge in terms of the other two product, which is the maintenance cost, is very low क्योंकि इसमें कोई सेंट्रल एयर कंडीशन नहीं है, ओपन मार्केट है, तो इसलिए मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट काफी मिनिमम रहती है। Plot is on your name. At the end of the day, you are owner for the land. So, that's a good advantage. Parking is very easy. It is usually surface parking. Mostly in some projects, there are basement parking too, but surface parking is very approachable market, and it is a traditional way of operating। अगर आप देखोगे बचपन से आपके आसपास मार्केट एरिया में जब जाते हो वो उसी तरह का एसईओ बेस्ड कॉन्सेप्ट्स पे है मोस्टली। सो दैट्स something that cannot run out easily, it cannot fail so easily। सेल्फ यूज एंड रेंटल बोथ आर एप्लीकेबल इन दिस केस। आप अभी भी अगर कोई बिजनेस नहीं करते हो बट इन फ्यूचर आपको करना है, आपको एक फ्रेंचाइजी को लीज आउट करना है, इन दिस ऑलवेज इज गुड ऑप्शन in terms of SEO. Area, of course, in the same price, if you look at much more area, and depending on the government regulations, you can get approval for building more floors. At right now, like a lot of projects have 4 floors or more as the 4 to 6 floors as the current available area that you can use in SEO. So that's some good advantages with SEO। Of course, some disadvantages too। जैसे कई बार आपको मल्टीपल एरेंड्स होंगे, आपके 4 फ्लोर हैं तो हो सकता है एक पर्टिकुलर ब्रांड लीज ना करे चारों फ्लोर आपके, तो आपको मल्टीपल टेनेंट्स हो सकते हैं। And construction, depending on you may have to do on your own, so not necessarily centralized in case of mall and office space। Now we know what SEO is, why it is better, and why people are after SEO। Quickly moving on to comparison, what are some of the options right now in market today? So a lot of comparison is, in the underdeveloped area. So there is a lot of upcoming SCO projects in the market right now. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Vatika crossover. This is one of the cheapest in sector 82A and one of the cheapest in Gurugram. It starts at 2.7 lakh rupees per square yard, which is the BSP. Of course, on top of BSP, there are ELC, PLC, and many other charges which are there. So expect that to be there. Roughly about 20% or 20 to 30% more you can expect on top of BSP on any of the underdeveloped projects that I'm going to talk about. So, but one thing that I've heard is Vatica has not got their RERA yet. So, this is yet to get the project, their RERA. So once that is there, then their price will go up. But at this point in time, it is also a very risky proposition to go with Vatica. The next one is DLF SEO. It's in sector 84. The size ranges from 76 yard to 152 square yard. 76 square yard, I would not suggest anybody to go for it. Even same goes for 95 square yard. Those are not typically good for SEO. If you want to go for SEO, look for something 150 square yards and above. 150, 140 is also fine, but that should be a good size for a good brand to come in. BSP here is 4 lakhs and above. Of course, DLF has got their papers right, RERA and everything is there. It's a good project. DLF generally doesn't get beaten up, but Sector 84 at this point in time is not a good catchment area. तो वो एक long term के लिए अच्छा है. अभी right now, as I said, it is underdeveloped. Third one is Oris Gateway. Oris Gateway के अंदर if you look at it's a sector 82A project, 75 to 105 square yard की sizes हैं. BSP roughly 3.5 lakh rupees per square yard का है. Again, ELC, PLC and everything else. I think that applies to all the underdeveloped projects with different builders. Um, fourth one is MR 89. It sizes from 100 to 145. BSP is 2.45, but this is on a very different location and not so great, but okay kind of a project. And lastly, MR65. This is the Golf Course Extension Road, 170 square yard. BSP is about 6 lakh rupees per square yard. So these are some of the underdeveloped projects. If you have spare money you want to invest in right now, and you can think of getting sub return 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you can think of these options. You can compare. You can go and visit site visit, etc. But again, these are developer related projects, so there are both positive and negatives are attached here. So I'm going to talk about some developed projects like in Gurugram and around Gurugram, like where New Gurugram, etc. So in the developed projects, the first one is like, for example, Huda Sector 46, one of the biggest sector in Gurugram. They have SCOs of 143 square yards. The price starts from 7.35 lakhs. So of course, this is a developed market. It is operational market as of now. You can start getting rent from day one. Of course, one disadvantage is you have to go and build yourself, but वो outsource कर सकते हो आप. But then there is a surety that you get rental from day one. You don't have to wait for 4 or 5 projects. There is no ELC, PLC attached in any developed projects, any Huda, HSIDC. There is no additional cost, and the maintenance cost is not just low but almost negligible. There's no maintenance cost at all in the developed Huda or HSIDC markets. The next one is Sector 29, again a very established market. Here roughly the sizes are 330 square yards, all inclusive. The rate is 8.7 lakh rupees per square yard. This comes out to be around 28, 29 CR project only for the SCO. Somebody who's looking for a big ticket size, this is a good option to go for. Sector 29 is a very good area. And then the third one is one of the promising option, which is HSI option, which is similar to Huda. This is in Sector 1, Manesar. The size is 1 to 73 square yards. The price is also very reasonable, which is 2.31 lakh rupees square yard. And if you look at in terms of rental, of course, you get the rental from day one. Well-established market and something you can always rely on getting the rental from day one. Again, maintenance very low, parking ample, land your own. And the good part in the developed projects right now is there is a policy that is being worked upon. एक नई पॉलिसी आने वाली है जिसके अंदर फ्लोर वाइज रजिस्ट्री SCO plots के अंदर allow होने वाली है. So if that happens, then these prices are almost going to become 1.5 times or 2 times. So that's a good option to go for. You can look at these. If you have any questions, you can call me on this number. I can help you do whatever I can. But that's it for now. I'll keep posting more videos. Thank you.